Bonjour you lot, how you doing? Hope you're all absolutely 100% fine and dandy. I'm not really planning to do anything, but then I walked in here and I saw this. It was on the floor, it was under the bench, and I haven't done anything with it since I took it out that time. All the screws fell out from underneath and it all went wobbly. And what else happened? Nothing happened to it. Actually, it ran out of petrol, but then I noticed all of that and I thought, oh, I'll leave it. I'm sure there was something else that happened, but I can't remember what it was now. But it didn't make it unusable. One of the things I've been meaning to do, because this is quite a bad design, in order to get to the spark plug, you have to undo 1, 2, 3, 4 screws, take the petrol cap off, and then you can take this off and get to your spark plug. There's a couple of reasons why you might want to get your spark plug. Obviously, for cleaning it, easy access is always nice, isn't it? Just pop off the boot, undo your plug, give it a clean, jam it back in, boot back on, and away you go. Easy access is nice. But also, let's just say, a lot of people that have these 1/5 scale, petrol cars, they tend to be worriers. That's what my opinion on the sort of people that buy these sorts of ones, and they start to panic and it might start running away. How are you going to get to it to turn it off? The one sure way where you can guarantee that it's going to turn off immediately, if it's running away and you're worried, and you've not, maybe your button's not working, or you've not thought to take off the petrol line to the carburetor or something like that. The one sure way to turn it off if you've got to run away, run up to it and just go. The minute this comes off of the spark plug there is absolutely no way that it can run. Now, I know some of you are going to turn around and say, well, actually, it is possible for a petrol engine to run off just the compression if it's hot enough. 100% true. If the engine is hot enough, and we're talking mega hot, well out of its operating temperature, it is possible that a petrol engine can carry on running if it's at high RPMs, really high RPMs, without the spark plug actually doing a spark. But that's very unlikely, extremely unlikely that's ever going to happen to one of these little two-stroke engines. We're not talking that kind of territory here. What I'm talking about is, if you're out down the park, your fail-safe for some reason isn't working, perhaps your batteries become disconnected and you're stuck at full throttle, so any fail-safe mechanism is not going to work. If you've got one of those ones on the transmitter where you press a button and it stops your engine, that ain't going to work because your battery's disconnected, your wires fell out, something's happened. But your engine will still keep running, it's shot off and it's in a bush. And if you're not a calm, logical thinker, you might be panicking. Well, the one way, that, as I said, just walk up to it and just go, yank it off, it'll stop. But if you've got this over the top of it, like that, and you've got 4 screws, 2 screws there, 2 screws there, and the petrol cap, you can't get to it to take it off, and if your stop button doesn't work, like mine doesn't, you ain't going to be able to do that, are you? You're going to be messing around, it ain't going to work. So I could just take this off altogether. I could just run it without that. I could just do it like that. I mean, that'll be fine. But I do think that this does add some structural rigidity to this little roll cage thing here. And it also does add some protection around the petrol tank, because obviously that goes on there. And it does have some protection, so if I ever flipped this, it's unlikely anything's going to jab in there if I've got that there. So I'm going to put that back on there and I'm going to mark it and we're going to cut out a little slot. Yeah, been meaning to do that ever since day one, but you know what it's like. You think to yourself, oh, I'll do that, that's something I must do, and you just don't do it. do you? It's like when you buy a new car or a second-hand car, isn't it? And you think, I must get that cam belt changed. Everybody knows the minute you buy a second-hand car, if it's got a chain, don't worry. But if it's got a cam belt, regardless whether the person you bought it from says, oh, it only had that done last year, ignore them. Go and buy the cam belt kit and a water pump and do it, because then you know it's done for another 5 years or so many thousand miles. But it's one of them things, you buy the car, you think, right, next weekend I will do that cam belt. Before you know it, a whole year's gone past, and you think, damn it, I still ain't done that bloody cam belt and I've had the car a year now. It's one of them things. Anyway, let's get on with it. There's my mark, so that should be perfect, really, hopefully. Right, let's cut it out. Let's have a look here. That's for the air gun. Here we go. Take that one off. There's a cutting disc. That will do the trick. Lovely. Right. I was going to do it with a saw, but I thought to myself, might as well just get out a grinder. I've got like a little, I've got like a little mini grinder, a little mini cutter. Sorry, but that's on there. Means I've got to turn the compressor on, and that's noisy. So I'll leave that for now. We'll use this one. Lovely jubbly. Bloody hell, look at this. Have you ever seen a floating alpaca before? Neither have I, man. I think they're pretty rare. Anyway, that's back on there, look. Lovely job. And now we can literally just go, and that is off. And we can also get the ratchet in there, take out the plug, give it a clean if needs be, put it back on, like that. And that's absolutely fine. Some of you might argue, well, that needs protection, you know, it needs protection. It doesn't need protecting. That's perfectly fine like that. There's nothing wrong with that. That being out in the open like that, it just makes it a hell of a lot easier to do general maintenance and to turn it off if we get one of those runaways. You know, it's always good. That's one little thing that you need to remember. With a petrol engine, yeah? Stuff hanging there. With a petrol engine, if you ever do need to turn it off for any reason, you know, if it's running away and you can't control it, or you're just panicking because of the noise, a lot of people seem to panic because of the noise, just whip it off. You won't get a shock if you're touching the outside of the boot, unless there's a hole in the boot, then you might get a shock, but it ain't going to hurt you. It will hurt you. You go, ah! But after that, your toes will start to tingle a bit, and yeah, away you go. Happy days. Right, let's put this back together. Put the cap back on the old petroleum spirit tank. And that's that one little thing done. Now I've got to try and find some screws. Were they screws or bolts? I can't remember. I think they were screws, weren't they? Or were they Allen bolts? Oh, they might have been Allen bolts. To put in the bottom front. I've got this I want to take out for a blast. And I've also got, I want to take the Savage, the SS out, because I repaired the front diff on it. I put a new 4 bevel diff on the front, and I haven't tested it since. Anyway, that's that done. Let's go and find some screws. Oh, that was it. I just remembered what happened. That come away from the bead. Let's get this wheel off, see if we can fix that. I want to tell you something. What has 4 letters but sometimes has 9? If you know the answer, I want to hear it in the comments. I've lost me, you know, like the RC sort of nut thing, so I've got to crack out the proper toolkit. I'm pretty sure, unless I'm very much mistaken, these nuts on here are 24. Yes, they are 24. Lovely jubbly. Let's get this on here. Get this. Got to use 2 hands. Let's get it off. Oh, that's what happened, look. It's come out from around that bead lock. So we should be able to. They don't all look like they're damaged. It's supposed to look like that for those of you that don't know, but I'm pretty sure you all do. But that's what we got. So what was happening was this wheel was just, the rim was spinning and the tyre was going nowhere. Although it's still connected on that end, on that side, so I don't know why that was happening. Anyway, regardless, I don't really care. Let's take all these Allen screws out and try and fix this bead, put it back together. And all I've got to do is try and find screws to go underneath it. Hopefully, this should just slot straight back in and we should have happy days. I mean, to be honest, it shouldn't have come out in the first place, but they do. We all know that they do. Looking through my tins of nuts and bolts, trying to find another 3 because there's only one. There's obviously supposed to be another 3. It looks like that attaches this chassis to this chassis, so I've got to find another 3 for that, 2 for that. Them 2 held up. So far I've got plenty of nuts and bolts. I've got these ones in here as well, look, but they're too fat. I could drill it out and tap it, but I'm not going to go that far into it, not at the moment. Bloody Jesus. So, the hunt continues. Oh, look what I found. Oh, perfect. I've got plenty of oil. I was going to go down the shop and buy an oil filter because I've got to do an oil change on my real car. But, got a Shell filter here. Change the air filter to £1.30, look. Popular applications: British Leyland Morris, Marina and Marina 2, 1.3 saloon and coupe. 1971 onwards. Oh, sweet. This'll work. Oh, that'll work, won't it? Get out of there. Oh, it's a Fram. Why is there a Fram in a Shell box? Oh well, that'll work. What have I got here? Oh, I've got a Halfords one, covered in old spiders. That Halfords oil filter. Oh, that'll also fit, I reckon. Oh, sweet. I haven't got to go down the shop and buy an oil filter now, and I can use up that oil. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Nuts and bolts. Well, there's not anything in any of this, all Jubilee clips and other bits and bobs like Jubilee clips and big nuts and bolts. These are all really for cars and vans and stuff. Oh, what's that one? Too small. Can't really be going and buying more nuts and bolts, man. Can't really be buying more nuts and bolts. I've got to find, there must be something in here that will fit. What's this one? Oh, bloody hell. Right, let's have a look. Keep going. I've got, these are all just small ones for like normal sized RC cars. We've not got, oh, what's that? What is that one? Is that going to fit in there? Too small. Might fit in there though. Oh, happy days. Alright. That goes in there. Now these are the ones that I bought from said shop. I better not keep mentioning them because they might get upset. You see, I've got a bit of a habit of upsetting shops by mentioning them and saying something which is true but not good, and they tend to get the ump, so I'm not going to do it anymore. But said shop where I bought this from, when the screws were missing last time, I thought I want the right screws, so I contacted said shop and I said the screws that attach blah 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 blah, explained. They said these are the ones you want. They told me that they couldn't set it up for me. They told me the dimensions. So I purchased the dimensions they told me. But they're all too small. They don't fit. So that's that. I'll keep looking. I'm sure I have got... I've got some more in here somewhere. I'm sure I have. They're little ones. I'm certain. You know when you're sure you've got something and you know it's somewhere. You know you've got it, but you just can't find it, and it's not in the places you thought it was, but you know it's somewhere. I'm sure I've got bolts that size, but where they are is a different question. Or have I used them? I'm not sure. I managed to get that one to go in. I think it literally just caught the end of the thread, but I've managed to get them two to fit in there. I put literally 6.2 tons of that on there this time, so they shouldn't come loose anymore. I've done them up as tight as I could get them before it felt like they were going to go. I don't think I'm going to get any nuts and bolts in there because, again, the ones I was told to buy for that, they're not long enough. They need to be longer. I think they're just not sure really, are they? So they just tell you any old size and hope that it's right. But I might have to take that one out, measure it, and then get another 3. Well, at least 2, because there's definitely supposed to be one in there. I can see threads, but I can't see any threads in there. Maybe there's supposed to be a nut on the other end. But either way, it definitely needs to have a bolt in there. So sweet. Well, I took it out, that other nut, and we know that it's an M6, 6mm, by what? Get it rough, it's only going to be rough. It's only going to be rough, don't panic, don't panic. 10 by 10mm. Right, I'll see if I can get quite a few of them. They're going to fall out, and obviously these ones are meant to have nuts on the end, so I'll have to get nuts to suit, because I don't know if I've got them. These are all falling out. These are definitely far too small. What are these? M8. Right there. They're definitely far too big. So I'll have to get some M6 nuts to go in there for that other side, because there's no, if you put your finger under there you can feel the captive nut. If you put your finger in there, there's no captive nut. Then again, what the bloody hell does it hold? I ain't got a clue. What I'll have to do is flip it upside down and look in there and see what actually holds it, but regardless I'll have to get some. But I won't be doing that yet because other priorities, you know, other things take priority at the moment. Let's do that up nice and tight so it doesn't come loose. I might still give it a blast with just that one bolt in there. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? It'll fall apart. It's not going to be the end of the world, is it? I'll put it back together again. Thanks for watching, you lot. Remember, treat everybody the same. We're all equal. Doesn't matter what nationality. Doesn't matter what, you know, where anybody's. We're all equal. Love each other. Treat everybody how you want to be treated. And if you want to buy stickers like this one, let me know, and I'll get them sent out to you as soon as possible. By the way, I think enough of you have probably been shouting at the screen and all that kind of stuff by now, saying to yourself, it holds the frame together, flip it over, turn it over, have a look inside and you'll see what it holds. I know what it holds, I just don't know the reason why there isn't a captive nut on both sides. But in here we can see, well, I can, hopefully I can get you lot in there to see as well. Bloody hell, how am I going to get you lot in there to see that? If I can put the light in. Oh, there we go. Can you see there, just behind that wire, that's the one remaining bolt. Over there is the, well, it's not really a captive nut, is it? But kind of is. That's the other side. And down there, that hole with nothing on it, whether they're supposed to be, but they just didn't put it on, I don't know. But I'm going to have to get, there's definitely a nut that needs to go on that. And the other one is down there. So, I thought I'd leave that to the end. Because, well, you know, I love you lot, but it's always fun to have a bit of a wind up now and again. I really am going now. See you later.